BBC Radio 1 Extra. This is a moment. Firstly, before we introduce this morning's guest, I just want to say I'm super, super grateful for everything you do, because this is a radio station that I really wanted to get on, and listening to your videos, your podcast, helped me get here. And we got a room, I know it's radio, if you're watching, you'll be able to see it at some point, a room full of people who you really helped. So everyone in the room, can we just get some Gary V energy in? Gary Vaynerchuk,
This is so ridiculously humbling. Thank you so much. First of all, the fact that you wore a throwback Jets sweater is put me in the right mindset, and then all the love the guys just gave me. By the way, I know it's radio, so everybody listening, all the guys are very attractive as well. So just something you guys should know out there listening.
But Vayner Sports, Vayner Media, the book, Swiss Shoes, podcast.
Yes.
You do a lot.
Yeah, man. Look, here's what I think. I think we get one at bat. The number one thing that scares me in life is regret. I really, really, really don't want to be on my deathbed, whether that's tomorrow or when I'm 97, and think, I should have done that. I should, that spooks me, right? Like hard work, people judging me, trolling me on social media, like all the stuff that normal people worry about, I don't worry about. I worry about regret. And so I'm trying to squeeze everything out of my life. And so, yeah, I do a lot.
Which is interesting, because with this interview, there's so many interviews you got on YouTube, and half of it we have to give the practical advice for the new people that haven't heard of you before.
Sure.
And then half of the interview we can go really geeky. So I guess you starting off with #OneLife.
Yes.
So let's start off super practical. For the person tuned in that is a part of the rat race.
Yes.
I know you help a lot of people start, especially younger people, but how does a person with 4 kids who's listening right now, doesn't like his job, but just can't quit and sell stuff and find stuff in the junkyard?
So if you're listening and you're over 42, let's just use my age, there's something interesting. You said something that I help a lot of people that are younger. It only has to do with one thing. They actually believe in the technology we live in, right? This room is filled with guys right now who've taken advantage of YouTube or Instagram or just the Facebooks of the world. And the only thing I need to do to break through somebody who's 47 in the suburbs of London who has a mortgage, debt, and 3 children is for them to understand that unlike when he or she and I grew up and there was no internet, the thought of like having a happy life was separate than taking care of what you were supposed to take care of. The fact that everybody can come home tonight at 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. and then take out their phone or their iPad or whatever and get to work for 3 more hours and go to sleep at midnight, get their good 6 or 7 hours of sleep. I'm not talking about don't sleep. A lot of people get me confused. My big thing is, if you're not happy, if you're happy and you make 37,000 pounds a year, mazel tov, do you. But if you are not happy, if you hate your job, right, you can do something about it instead of blaming Brexit or blaming Trump or blaming your mom. Like, do something about it. And my point is, it's the internet.
But the thing is, I feel with London and the UK that America's really good on, it's hard for a lot of people that do work in corporations to get out their mobile phone and start vlogging at work, because the boss and everyone else in the room
in
is just
America,
like,
that's bad too. But guess what? Starting 433, the soccer platform, is not hard. Meaning it takes talent to get that big. But listen, don't get America twisted. Everybody always says this to me when I'm outside the US. Yeah, but in America, you guys, 99% of Americans are introverts and don't do anything either. It's just a mindset. I would actually argue that, now look, Europe, I think, has lost a lot of its entrepreneurial spirit. But I would tell you, South America, Asia, there's a lot of places where people are more gangster than the US. Don't get the US Hollywood extrovert me culture twisted. This is a divide between people that understand what the internet is up to and people that don't. There's somebody driving right now listening to this doesn't realize that their deep knowledge of the Manchester United football team can create 100,000 euros a year job if they knew what to do and putting out content and opinions on Instagram, podcast, and YouTube. They don't know. See, you 9 are educated, and then you tried, and the opportunity is so big, regardless of how talented you are or not, I'm being serious right now, you're gonna get some return on investment because it's a land grab. I'm really killing it because I'm talented and I knew about the land grab.
Yeah.
But the fact that somebody who's driving right now and hates being a clerk at a retail store or an accountant in a firm, but knows a unbelievable amount about beers or sports or babysitting or roses or farming or TV shows and could put out their opinions and thoughts and expertise on social, and over 40 years switch from being an accountant to being a tastemaker on what show should be on Netflix next, is a remarkable, magical moment in time that sounds like snake oil until you lift the hood and see what's up.
I want to ask you as well, you mentioned it, I know you had Divock Origi on your show
Yes.
from Liverpool and now Wolfsburg. Football, it feels like you're about to take over the football world, the soccer world, and I think that's the reason why you're in London. So, which is true, right?
Well, I didn't drop 433's handle for kicks
no
and giggles.
reason,
Look,
yeah.
I think you might be right. Listen, I think for you, and it seems like this whole crew you've got here, somewhere around 18 months ago, even though I've been passionate about it for a long time, I'm like, it's time to penetrate hip hop for real. And then over the last 18 months, a lot of people listening to this, and I could see some of the heads nodding, I've systematically started to penetrate hip hop. I will do the same thing for proper football.
Proper football, okay. Brownie points.
I just made a lot of Brits happy with my American acknowledgement. So look, I care about a couple things. I care about attention, and that's what I've been talking about. Where is the attention? It's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's YouTube, podcasting. I care about culture, and soccer / proper football is culture. It is, basketball and proper football are going to be the two biggest sports for the rest of my life in the world, and I will be a part of them some shape or form. And the third thing I care about is empathy. I'm so consumer-centric. The reason everybody here gave me that incredible, greeting, and even before we went on the air, the authentic one-on-one one, is because I don't want them to watch my stuff because I want them to then sign up for my $20,000 a year mastermind or my $800 bullshit ebook. I want them to be happy and tell other people that I brought them value for free. We have 8 people here affected. I made $0.00.
Out of them even coming today.
So to me, that is leaving legacy. And to me, legacy matters, and it starts with empathy. Empathy is actually caring about the other person more than you care about yourself. It makes you impactful, it gives you legacy, and it also makes you great at sales. I'm great at selling stuff when I want to, because I'm thinking about you, not me. Like when I'm collaborating with K-Swiss and trying to tell them what kind of sneaker we make, I think about the box, the tissue paper, how we launch it, what are we doing? Like what am I doing that's gonna make it hot for a sneakerhead? Not how am I gonna maximize my profit? The tissue paper costs more. The better box costs more. That means I made less money, but you liked it more, which means we can have a relationship for the next 100 years, not for a few minutes.
And this is why the Jake Rich meetings, the Rich the Kid meetings, Jeezy, for when other brands that you do buy with VaynerMedia, they get involved.
And if you notice the meetings I have with Gunna or Russ or the characters that you just met, I have one passion. How do I help them? And here's the best part. When I help all of them, and in 9 years I buy a cognac, and I ask them to all help me, if all of them said, no, forget you, you can't imagine how much that would not hurt my feelings.
No expectations.
No expectations, brother. So I give. I have no expectations. It makes me feel like I'm unbeatable.
One thing I want to go on as well, there's a lot of comments, and you're someone that's quick to buy different apps, different software that's coming up. Thoughts on Vero?
Yes.
The app.
So Vero falls into, first of all, great question. D-Rock's probably happy. Everybody's been asking for my opinion on this. On Vero, I'm on it. I'm watching it. But I'm not everybody's overreacting, right? Like, because here's why. There's a lot of young people that haven't been around in the last wave of social media networks. We haven't had a new one hit the lexicon in a little while, right? So everyone's like, this is the new stuff. This is like people are reacting because they're mad that their Instagram numbers are down because the algorithm changed, without understanding that Instagram is free and giving you a ton of exposure. Could Vero win? Sure. Do I overreact in that it sucks or that it's the next big thing? Absolutely not. My cadence with anything like Vero or anything else is taste. And when I need to go all in, I'll go all in. So I'm not gonna come on this show or go out in public and predict, because I don't like guessing, because I don't want that vulnerability. I have no idea. I'm watching everybody. I want to see what happens when the high of let's be on Vero goes away, when you post 9 pictures on Vero and get 27 likes instead of the one you post on Instagram. I mean, people left Snapchat, which actually had community.
Did you see the Snapchat update?
I love the Snapchat update.
You love these?
I love it.
Because
let me tell you why all the kids hate it.
Yeah, even Kylie hated it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Kylie is Kylie on a separate kick. Like, she's got all the leverage in the world, and she's going to do what she's going to do. And I don't think even Kylie, to me, if Kylie hates it or Sally Pants Magoo in Manchester hates it, it's all the same game. Kylie just has impact, right? To me, it's consumer and human behavior. Here's what's happening with Snapchat. People hate change. People hate change. People hate change, even if they're 26. Do you know that all the people listening right now who are under 30 are going to get caught? They make fun of their parents and grandparents or older brothers and siblings for not being cool with tech, yet none of them are using Alexa at home right now for real, yet voice is the next game. And in just 7 or 8 years, the 27-year-old right now who thinks they're fresh with their off-whites on is going to feel super old.
And with the Snapchat, this isn't just because you're an investor.
No,
this is genuine.
Actually, I have so much more equity in Facebook that it's probably financially better for me if Instagram kills Snapchat based on my 2 investments. And more importantly, when it comes to investments and my point of view, I will never go on the BBC, on YouTube, or anywhere and spit something that I don't believe because there's no money that can buy me being wrong on film. Right? True. So for me, no, it's because I actually think it's a good update change. Do I think it might be a little bit too late? Maybe. Right? But I can tell you right now, the way they did it, Discover, for example, now they've made it 2 swipes, left and right. Right? More importantly, Discover now puts influencers and media companies and other places equal, which is important because that's how your Instagram and Facebook feeds actually work, and Twitter. There is no priority to Kylie versus People Magazine, BBC versus LeBron. That's important because that's how you get discoverability and lack of friction. The new Discover feature does that. That is going to be beneficial to Snapchat because they alienated influencers too much over the last several years and didn't work with them, and that hurt them. And I think they're showing more respect now to an influencer.
One thing, going quite geeky here, this is something I only heard the other day. Rumored that Tony Robbins put $250 million in something called NAD Plus.
I didn't hear that.
Have you heard of NAD Plus?
No, but I mean, I can tell you right now, there's no chance that Tony Robbins put $250 million into anything because he doesn't have that kind of paper.
Okay.
He might have carried it. He might have raised $250 and got 20% on the back end, but Tony did not write a $250 million check. Now, by the way, I could be totally wrong, and if I am, I can't wait to make the meme of me saying this, and then there's a video of Tony's like, here's the check. But that would stun me if it's true. Yeah. And by the way, I would say that what would be more likely if he's associated at that level is the most extreme thing is that he raised $250 million.
Maybe that was
He's the manager of that money, and he makes 20% of the upside. That's how funds work for everybody at home. Or it's just false outright.
Something that
I don't even know what that thing is.
I think it's something you have that makes you live longer. It's like extended life. I want to go on to, I feel like something that might make people stop, especially with all the videos that you do to make people want to start. Now that we see Will Smith vlogging, now that we see an artist in the UK that's quite big called George Ezra, he's now got a podcast. He can get Ed Sheeran on tomorrow. He can get someone else on.
That's right.
It seems like the
establishment is coming.
Are taking over the stuff that we
that's how it's always going to be, right? So that's just the game. Now, here's the question. There's a lot more famous people on podcasts and YouTube than me, but I'm beating them. When it's Will Smith and they're actually talented and know how to adjust their content to the medium, they'll be successful, right? But there's a ton of famous people on podcasts that if you keep scrolling in the ranks are way, way down there from me. And it's because they haven't adjusted to what they should be doing on podcast and they're treating it like old school radio or television. So yes, if you're a star or have an audience and you go into a new medium and you respect the medium and you bring it, you will win. Ashton Kutcher won Twitter. DJ Khaled won Snapchat. But they had to respect Snapchat and Twitter to win. There was other famous people on Snapchat before Khaled. He just was authentically native to it. And that's why it worked. Will Smith is so ridiculously talented and is so authentically Will. And that's what he's putting out on social right now. He's Will. And Will works. That's how he got there in the first place.
I want to ask
Too many people are Brad Pitt or soccer star Messi or what have you, but then they go to Instagram and they're or YouTube vlog or Snapchat and they're not themselves. They're the people they portray in the media, which is why they don't win.
Gems. Gary, we got a few more things as well. I want to ask about kind of a selfish question as well. I know you mentioned in Crushing It that, are you saying go all in internet and online rather than trying to build a career that you can mix in the mainstream? Because as a broadcaster,
let's go more detail. What do you think? You mean like to me, you should do everything.
Okay.
Back to doing a lot. Like, can you be on a TV show tonight and be a guest? Do it. If somebody from the Sun wants to interview you, do it. Now, if you have to choose between being on a morning show here in London or being on the vloggers, one of the biggest vloggers shows that morning, I get more excited about number 2. But my answer for you, all 7 homies here and the millions listening over the course of the next decade, is both.
Simple.
Right? To me, attention. I said it earlier. Exposure. If you want to put 100,000 people in Wembley Stadium to have me listen and talk, I'm interested.
Okay.
If you want to have 100 million people watch me on video, I'm interested. It's all the same. It's just attention. I don't care if it's physical or digital. It just don't overestimate the old important places. I don't want to be on Good Morning America as much as I want to be on Joe Rogan's podcast. Yet 90% of people that don't know what's going on would laugh at what I just said. They would think Good Morning America was much better. They're wrong because they don't understand where the attention is.
Yeah. With, I want to ask you about, you help a lot of people get money in terms of if they haven't got money in the first place.
Yes.
But sometimes I guess maybe that's where more people ask questions, how to make money, rather than once you got the money and you get your first paycheck and you're like, you know what, I've got some money in the bank now. Where do you go to then build that money?
I think the reason you feel it right now is about a year ago, I got into the whole mindset of like, oh crap, there's a lot of people watching me who have zero. So I started talking about the flip challenge and go to Craigslist. But in general, most of my career was talking more about people that had a little something. That's a very easy place for me. I think the answer to you or anybody who's listening is, what do you want to happen in life? I want to buy the New York Jets American football team. I've got to be on the offense. But if you have a little bit of money and you don't want to work super hard for the rest of your life and you don't have ambition for all-time legacy, well, then you should put your money into Facebook and Amazon stock and watch it grow over the next 20 years and buy yourself a nice little cottage in the country when you're done. The answer to your question is completely 100% predicated on your ambition. What is the ambition that you have? If you want to buy a Premier League team, you better go on the offense and pour every one of those dollars back into hyper upside. If you want to just chill and smoke weed in Ibiza, well, then you don't have to.
Have you got a football team, by the way?
No, not yet. We were talking
Can
about
you support, I'm thinking Fulham FC.
So here's the big thing.
Because we're like the Jets, we suck.
Well, that's very interesting to me. I have only 2 rules on my football team. They can't have won a championship in the last 30 years.
They haven't.
Well, then I'm interested.
Cool. We're going to go out on this, something super practical, something that we can use for the Instagram pages, etc. 3 tips to get happy, stay happy, and I guess financially secure, but that goes into the happiness as well.
Well, I don't know about that. Like, I really think the money and happiness thing is a very big confusion. Most of my richest friends are miserable, and some of my poorest friends are super happy. So that's just one point, but let's break it down. A couple things. The biggest reason people are unhappy right now is because they value somebody else's opinion more than they value their own. That is the number one blanket statement that I've got for everybody. Your mother's point of view on you, your wife's point of view on you, your boyfriend's point of view, your homie's point of view. Like, the reason I'm super happy is nobody can tell me nothing. My wife, mom, and daughter could walk into my room right now, tell me I'm a piece of crap, and I would be 100% unfazed. That is some gangster emotional structure. And that's why I can never lose. I know who I am, and I'm unfazed. So if my mom, daughter, and wife could come in and tell me I'm a piece of crap and I'm cool, what do you think that troll on Instagram that says I suck does? Nothing. So you need to figure out the following. It is very likely that either your mom or dad screwed you up. They made you insecure. They didn't love you enough. They told you you weren't good because they weren't good, and misery loves company. Once you face that demon, once you cut out negativity and the people that hold you down and you surround yourself with positivity, and don't confuse delusion. Don't watch my videos and rah up and you don't put any work in, nothing good's gonna happen. You're just gonna watch my videos. So don't get it confused, but life is basic. You're either on the optimism team or you're on the pessimism team. You're either on the offense or you're on the defense. The reason people are unhappy is because, let's talk about money and unhappiness. Your 3 best friends have a BMW and you don't. You think it's that. You don't realize that I loved when all my friends had BMWs and I had nothing. It's just perspective, man. What are we doing here? Like, what are you valuing? Like, what's everybody's on defense. All the immigration issues in the world. Nobody's taking yours. You think some immigrant's taking your job? You suck. Like, if you think that, right? You think somebody else is taking your spot? This is the world. We live in the rich, like, you know, rich this world in the UK market. You live in the UK and you're complaining? Get the hell out of here. So that's practical. You have a family member or a childhood that put you in a mindset of defense. And listen, I know I'm going to get a lot of hits on Twitter and Instagram about this interview now when I spit this, because I know a lot of people haven't heard of me or have context on me. Let me just say this. The answer to everything is, and what now? Right? Like, I know people grew up in alcoholic households. I know people were molested. I know people had somebody steal all their money. Here's my problem. Nobody cares. Like, what are you waiting for? Like there is no fair fairy flying down from the earth and saying, you were born an African American in America where that's an issue. Here's $1 million. That's not happening. So my thing is, instead of dwelling and wishing how it was, understand, back to the next practical part of your question, that the internet is now here. And guess what? The internet's not a 76-year-old white man. It's the internet. And that means everybody's got a shot. So go take yours. It's happening on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Go figure it out instead of shitting on it and thinking it sucks. And go get your money, happiness, and that's it. Simple as that. I got no time for people complaining because it's just not true anymore. 1986? Yes. 2018? What do you think's going on? Why do you think Me Too's happening now? The internet won. It's over. Go get yours.
Gary Vaynerchuk. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Yes.